Hello, BookTube. We start off the week with a small mail haul, 3 packages, but 1 box. No violations of rule number 1. These are all from publishers. So let's see what we have. Let's see if there's anything squeal-worthy. Let's see what this first one is. Okay, this is a paperback release of a book that I don't think I ever read in hardcover. So it'll be new to me. This is from St. Martin's. Comes out it comes out on February 9th. Oops. So this is already in your bookstores. I have missed it completely. It's by Gigi Lavangi, and it's called Been There, Married That. Nobody makes Hollywood divorce funnier or more satisfying than Gigi Lavangi. Having survived it herself, the New York Times bestselling author of 7 novels, including The Starter Wife. Oh, I read The Starter Wife, and I really liked it. And the writer of the screenplay for Stepmom uses her unique talent for mining the intricacies of Hollywood's power couples to deliver a deliciously biting, smart, hilarious new novel. Been There, Married That. What is this book about? Agnes Murphy Nash is the perfect Hollywood wife. She has the right friends, the right clothes, and even a side career of her own as a writer. Her husband Trevor is a big-shot producer, and to anyone on the outside, it appears as if they live the picture-perfect celebrity life, complete with tennis tournaments and lavish parties. Agnes's seemingly idyllic paradise is shattered, though, when she arrives home one day to find her credit cards canceled and the security codes to her enormous LA home changed. Surrounded by menopausal adolescent moms, TMZ videos gone wild, and a tween with a DOATM, disgust of all things mom, Agnes descends the escalator down to the bowels of divorce hell. In the world where therapists look like real housewives of Equinox, friends dispense Xanax like Pez, and husbands consider women to be shiny objects, can one Hollywood wife take her life back? Okay, well, February or not, I'm going to read this. That sounds great. Okay, so she comes home to find herself locked out of her old life. All right, whoever wrote that cover copy, I am intrigued. You did your job. All right, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is another envelope here. I don't have my feng shui all lined up, but that's all right. We'll see if we can make the best of it here. This thing is a pull tab envelope that's been dented. They don't work under the best of conditions, so let's see. Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. I actually need this. I need this. This is a finished copy of something that we've seen already. I have read it in the meantime, and very much want the finished copy. This is Serhii Plokhy, and this is Nuclear Folly, a new history of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And there is John F. Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev. This comes out this month, I believe. Let's see if we have a date for this thing. April 13th. Next month, April. It's an April release. Really, really liked it. I really like this author. I have reviewed a number of his books. I do believe this is my favorite thing by him, and not just because it's a Kennedy book. I think he's getting better with every book that he does. I dream. I come up with fantasy careers for these authors that I really, really like, and I admit that I do that. He wrote a terrific book on Chernobyl, and he's done a bunch of other stuff. They all have Russian-centric concentrations of some kind or other. And when I read these things and I see them getting better as they go along, I just dream that when he is 70, he's going to write a 1,000-page history of modern Russia. Russia in the last 150 years. What I wouldn't give to read a book like that from this author. But this is incredible. So in mid-April, you're going to have the usual barrage of new releases in your bookstore. And you're going to have the usual number of people on your list. People that you need to get a present for. People that you want to surprise with an unexpected gift for no occasion whatsoever. And also your precious self. And what I want you to know, one of the side effects of this channel, what I want you to know is that this is one to get, even though it'll be full price. So what have we got here? Nearly 60 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis and 30 years after the end of the Cold War, today's world leaders are abandoning disarmament treaties, building up their nuclear arsenals, and exchanging threats of nuclear strikes. To survive this new atomic age, we must relearn the lessons of the most dangerous moments of the Cold War. I believe when I got the advanced copy of this, I responded to that by saying that it is not world leaders, it was Donald Trump. who was constantly on record questioning his generals in the open-ended way of idiots everywhere as to why he even has such a huge nuclear arsenal if he's not going to use it. I don't think there are many world leaders today who think anything like that, or who are anything but appalled in hearing that he thought that, and he's gone. So I'd like to think that the situation isn't quite as bleak, but you never know. In this book, the author offers an international perspective on the crisis, tracing the torturous decision-making that produced and then resolved it, which involved John F. Kennedy, his advisors, Nikita Khrushchev, and Fidel Castro, and their commanders on the ground. In breathtaking detail, the author vividly recounts the young JFK being played by the canny Khrushchev, the hot-headed Castro willing to defy the USSR and threatening to align himself with China, the Soviet troops on the ground clearing jungle foliage in the tropical heat and desperately trying to conceal nuclear installations on Cuba, which were nonetheless easily spotted by U-2 spy planes, and the hair-raising near misses at sea that nearly caused a Soviet nuclear-armed submarine to fire its weapons. More often than not, the Americans and Soviets misread each other, operated under false information, and came perilously close to nuclear catastrophe. During these errors, nuclear war was ultimately avoided for one central reason: fear, and the realization that any escalation on either the Soviets or the Americans' part would lead to mutual destruction. That's a familiar outline to the story, but boy, oh boy, does this author do a great job. Boy, oh boy, does he ever. What a book this is. So entertaining and so thought-provoking. May very well be the best book written on the Cuban Missile Crisis. And of course, I want to take this opportunity to recommend to you the Kevin Costner movie, 13 Days, which is, I say it's a Kevin Costner movie because he was the star that got it made. But the gem in that movie is Bruce Greenwood as JFK, an unbelievable performance that does not try to channel JFK. That was a brilliant decision on Greenwood's part. And it was a reliably great character actor, but never better than that movie. And that was a brilliant decision on his part, not to try the mannerisms, not to try the vocalisms, just channel the man, and it works perfectly. It works just perfectly. Best screen capture of JFK that's ever been done or is ever likely to be done. And also a very effective movie. A little bit marred by Costner's own overacting and horrible Boston accent, but well worth your time. If you've ever seen it and wondered if it's any good, it is. It is very good. So there we go with the finished copy of Nuclear Folly. That's great. I am reviewing this book, so a finished copy is a godsend. And then we have the box. I think it's likely that the box is also a finished copy, and for all I know, it could be a finished copy likewise of something that I'm reviewing, which would be great. Finished copies, especially of big works of nonfiction, are always great because they have the full index, they have the full critical apparatus, so that you can check it. You can check such a book much more readily than you can a galley copy. Here. My ergonomics are failing me once again. Here, let's get all this stuff out of the way. This is probably an invoice. Yes, it is. Let's get that out of the way. What is in here when we get past all that? Oh my! Oh goodness! No, I didn't. This I do not know. Fantastic! Oh my! Okay, this is by Paschalis Kitromilides and Konstantinos Tsoulkalos. It's called The Greek Revolution: A Critical Dictionary. Fantastic! Wow, this must be out already or really soon. What have we got here? The Greek War for Independence, which went from 1821 to 1830, often goes missing from the discussion of the age of revolutions. Yet the rebellion against Ottoman rule was enormously influential in its time, and its resonances are felt across modern history. The Greeks inspired others to throw off the oppression that developed in the backlash to the French Revolution. And the Europeans in general were hardly blind to the sight of Christian subjects toppling Muslim rulers. In this collection of essays, hence the dictionary, critical dictionary, that's a great way to put it. In this collection of essays, the editors bring together scholars writing on the many facets of the Greek Revolution and placing it squarely within the revolutionary age. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, I don't have a pub sheet for this, so I don't know the exact publication date, but I'm willing to bet that it's either out already or is out tomorrow or soon, very soon. This is almost certainly a March release or late February. But I will find the date, and if it's right on top of me, I will get to this right away. I tend to go at collections of scholarly essays like this non-sequentially. I'll read the introduction, and then I'll jump around and see. I won't read the essays in order. I start with the introduction, then go to the critical apparatus in the back, and then I start jumping around in the essays until I've got them all. Fantastic. Okay, well, I didn't see that coming at all. So there you go. That is our mail haul. Heavy on the nonfiction. So we have The Greek Revolution, a critical dictionary from the Belknap Press of Harvard University Press. And we have Nuclear Folly, great new history of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So, it's coming up in mid-April. I'll be reviewing it, but I'm already telling you, you can't go wrong. You're going to love it. Or your recipient is going to love it. If you know somebody who lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis, they're going to love it. And finally, Been There, Married That by Gigi Lavangi, about a Hollywood wife who thinks she's done everything right and then is cut completely adrift. All right, so nothing if not variety. I'm gonna wrap this up. That's our mail for today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.